Hello everyone. Dr. Clark here. And welcome everyone to the 100 subscriber live stream of the Dogs Board. Thank you everyone. I'll wait until a few more people get in here. Can everyone hear me clearly? Okay, excellent, Jerion. Thank you for coming, and I hope you can see me clearly too. I know I'm using the camera on my laptop. I know it's not of the highest quality, but when we upgrade in terms of our viewer base and everything of that nature, it would definitely go up in terms of the amount of quality of the live stream cameras. So, excellent. Just putting a few more touches. Excellent. Hold on. Let me make sure everyone. Thank you, Jaron, for coming. Just gonna give everyone a few more minutes to come in. Uh, for those who can, could you comment real quick so that I can see how many people are here? Because the at least on my end, the viewership numbers are extremely slow. Okay, excellent. Wait a minute. That's strange. Oh, hello, Derek. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, just a few more minutes. This is going to be recorded anyway, but just give it a few more minutes and until everyone comes in. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. They know. Not a martial artist. Sorry, everyone. I just want to make sure everyone is here who's going to be here. And when I start, I'm going to do another entrance again. Again, I apologize for those who are already here. Okay. Okay. In 1 minute, if we don't have more people coming, I'm going to go ahead and start. Actually, let me walk out so I can redo the entrance. Oh, well, hello. Welcome to the 100 subscriber live stream of the Dogs Board. Everyone, I'm Dr. Clark for those who've seen us. Thank you all for coming. Um, this has been a long journey. I'm going to go ahead and state that now. This has been a very long journey. Ever since the creation of this brand, the Dogs Board, and one of my staff members, Mr. Derek Brown Jr., is here in the chat room. He's watching. This has been a very, very, very hard journey, as long as it being as well as it being long. But through hard work, support, determination, prayers, and everything else, we've gotten here. I thought it would have took us another 2 to 3 years to reach 100 subscribers. But we did it. You know, as those of you who known from our previous videos and even the written content that you read, the video based content, including the interviews, podcasts, biographical videos, the um everything else in between, has always been secondary to our written work. But last year, and you can maybe say the beginning of this year and parts of 2020, um, for certain quarters of the year, like the first quarter of 2020, the third quarter of last year, and obviously the first quarter of this year, I've made it a mission to put a certain amount of effort and time and energy into the videos. So for those who, let's say, are blind, maybe, which is probably on a very small minority of what we do, or those who don't have time to sit down and read. I put a lot of more effort into creating videos and things of that nature, which, in a way, led to the rise of our subscribers and views and everything. And more in particular, not last week, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I released a short that is one of our highest performing videos that we've ever done. It was on Mary J. Blige. So if you have not seen that, you can go into our channel to look at that. But I say all of that to say this. Thank you all. So as Mr. Derek Brown can attest to this, the YouTube channel was something that we wanted to do, but the podcast, which eventually led into us doing an interview, was an idea swap between me and him. He was one of the first people, because the podcast is essentially his baby, but the interviews are something I wanted to do before the podcast. But he is the one who pushed me to do both of them. He taught me most of what I know about video editing and audio editing, so that we could produce content at the rate that we do. So I owe all of that to him. And everything that you're seeing here today is because of the hard work that we all have put in. As you all have seen over the years, we've had people who've left this business due to several different reasons. Leaving the workload to go to fewer and fewer people. But, you have to work for what you want to have. This may not seem as monumental to many people. It's because, there are some people's favorite, be it people who make content originally, celebrities, etc., etc., etc. They can get 1,000 subscribers in less than a month or two, and it means nothing to them. But for us, because of the type of content, thank you, Derek. But I have to still give you your kudos as well. But because of the type of content that we've made and how we make it, we always knew, no matter, because I've been called a marketing genius by people before. I try not to think so, but the proof is in the theoretical pudding into what most people think. But the type of content that we make, regardless, was never really, not necessarily mainstream, but it wasn't going to be as popular as most things. Have to be honest about that. But I went into that knowing this, because the interview I did with Derek last year, Mr. Derek Brown, the hip hop historian, or King Syfe, when he asked me about my hard work and why do I work so hard and what stops me from getting burnt out, one of the things I said, to paraphrase it, is I go into whatever I do, most likely knowing what the consequences are, or really knowing how hard the workload is going to be. So I tailor my work ethic around it. I tailor that. I tailor my mindset around that. I've never been burnt out with this because I went into this knowing what I was going into it for. That's why that's with almost anything in my life. Personal relationships, jobs, my education. I go into anything knowing what the consequences are. Now, that may not make certain things easier, but it still essentially makes it, I would say, in a different perspective, easier to bear. I would say that. And again, that's why we've gotten to the level that we are. But this is something that I'm going to eventually make a video about in the future, a short one, because I've been recommended to. But that goes into the ideology of support. When I made this business, when I made this brand, I have to be honest, especially about my business. I try to be, even in my personal life, I try to be as honest as possible, but depending on your perspective. But especially in this business, I am. Most people, even now, don't take what we do seriously. Or a lot of people, I've been told, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been told that, well, the type of things you make, this is really more like a hobby blog than you creating a brand. I've been made fun of by friends, family. Um, no, there are other people who do similar things to what I do, who people have no problem supporting. Even people who don't have any social media, YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they don't. But they don't support us, but they will follow other people. I've supported other people. I've given people business advice. I've given people advice on how to market things, and I've helped them get hundreds of subscribers. But I say all of that to say this. I always see things from two main perspectives. Diamante Clark, the personal side, the side that is technically talking to you now in a mixture of Dr. Clark, my second side, which is the business and objective side. My personal side says I don't want anyone to ever support me if their heart isn't in it. I don't want for anyone to ever put their energy into what I'm doing if their heart isn't in it or if they don't want to. I would do it for you, regardless if it's something I'm not interested in. But if you don't for me, that's fine. Because I want for people to have their choices and I want for people to have their own way to go through life. But then there's the Dr. Clark side. The Dr. Clark side, when people ask me to make certain projects or why we don't speak out about certain events or why we don't do this and do that, the Dr. Clark side says, well, look at the lack of success we've had when we've done things like that. I've had a friend or have a friend, haven't spoken to them in a while. I've contacted them, they haven't contacted me. Where this friend essentially, this was a business arrangement. No, verbal business arrangement. I made a project, wrote an article for them. Um, I didn't ask the person for any money. Didn't ask the person for any. The person didn't have any regular social media. They had a YouTube and I think a Reddit account, but that's it. I didn't ask them to make it to like in the shirt or anything. All I asked him to do is by a certain time, um, for them to read it and give me feedback. Uh, I wrote it early, perfected it. I put other projects to the side and or had to cancel them indefinitely to work on this project for this person. It took the person a year to read the article and give me feedback. By that time, it was basically meaningless and pointless. Oh, hello, Piccolo son. It was by the time it was meaningless and pointless. But during that time period, when the Demon Slayer anime came out, they watched every episode. Megalobox, every episode. Promise Neverland, every episode. If different white and Asian creators released nonfiction books and wrote their articles, they'll read it in less than an hour to 30 minutes. So that was another reminder. And yes, Jerry, on the year. It was 10 and a half months to be exact. But if you run that to the nearest 12, it's a year. But, and the person, they didn't think anything of it. when I asked them like 2 months after they were supposed to give me the feedback for it, they basically told me in so many words that they'll get to it when they get to it. So that's part of the things that I've had to deal with over the years. I've had people, family members, friends make fun of me. You know, different things. Now I've had people say, "Well, you aren't making any money from it, so why should I respect it?" Well, that has changed since then. I don't like to gloat, but that has changed since then. Um, I've been told, um, you know, people are not going to respect you in a way, but they respect drug dealers and people who destroy their own communities. So that's one thing that I would tell anyone watching this. No matter what, you have to make sure you, whatever race or sorry, whatever religion or dogma or creed you believe in, you have to make sure you follow it and keep yourself encouraged, because nothing is going to be successful if you listen to what other people tell you not to do. Like, but also, always make sure there's a backup plan, or not really a backup plan, more of you have other sources of income. Before I started this, even, I've been heavy into looking to other things, have multiple degrees, multiple certifications, multiple different things to do to help influence and enhance your dream. Remember, Richard Pryor didn't act in big films until he was in his 40s. I mean, he was already doing comedy, but he didn't really do big movies until he was in his 40s and 50s. Um, you know, uh, Dr. Dre, he was in his 40s when everything happened with Beats, when Apple bought them for $2 billion. He made more money in that one deal than I think he did. I think his entire production career. If I'm wrong, someone please quote me. Thank you, Markel. But that's the issue: is that you have to keep doing what you're doing. Be it your passion or what you're good at, you have to keep doing it regardless of what people say. Like, but also, I like to think Mr. Hunter Graham, who I don't think is here, but he's also one of the staff members. Um, he's been helping and steadily working as well. But God has a very, very interesting way of setting things up. The start of our business, in terms of how we're doing this now, was in 2017, February 2017, February 1st, or really January 31st, but February 1st. 5 years later, our anniversary, we do this again. We change up our pattern like we do every year. We have one of our most successful videos that we've ever made come out this month within a few days of the first. And we get over 100 subscribers, something we've been reaching for, within a few days of the first of this month. He has a way of showing you, be it you determine it as a sign or not. He has a way of showing you, and I'm glad for that. Glad for that. But before I continue, does anyone have any questions or comments for me? All depending on what it is, I'm very, very interested in answering it. I'll give you all about 2 to 3 minutes to post any. Um, Markel, just to make sure, you're referring to the interviews, right? So okay, so Markel, okay, yes. So that's in various ways. Um, the first interview that we've ever did was with a black woman who hosts the most successful elderly woman, the elderly woman um pageant, Miss Kenyon Dimps. That was set up by one of our former members, um, who set that up. But I continued to maintain a relationship with her throughout the years. That she's actually invited us to her pageant before whenever she has it. Just that because how busy I am, I've never had the time to do it. But we do it in various ways. But usually, even if it's me directly messaging them through my personal account or through the business account or me getting someone else to, I always make sure, um, one, I have a list of people. Two, usually whenever I'm not interviewing someone, it doesn't mean that I don't have someone to interview. It just means that a lot of people have timetables and scheduling that is too erratic. That I will have multiple people. Even now, I still have multiple people that I'm supposed to do interviews with in the future, near future, late future, whatever. That their schedules are so erratic that like there's just about four people now that I'm supposed to be doing an interview with that I can't because their schedules are so erratic. So I keep in contact with them. But to again answer your question, Markel, I do it in various ways. But usually it is always within people, within communities that I may be a part of, or communities that I'm adjacent to. Oh, hello, Danny. Yep, thank you for coming. But communities that I am adjacent to. So that's essentially why. And that's essentially how. The upcoming interview that I will be doing, it was I was given the contact information from Mr. Derek Brown. It's going to not going to spoil, but it's going to be with a pretty good and big figure, and he makes great products and let's say auditory auditory content. I'm going to keep it like that. Um, So I hope that answered your question, Markel. So Piccolo son, I find that when you logically understand your path, what others think it is irrelevant. Right, and that's true, Piccolo son. That's the thing. When you look at things from a factual, objective standpoint, people's opinions and what they think are going to always be secondary and last in your viewpoint, and that's true. They should always be like that. People's opinions, no matter how hard they may feel, should always go below the facts. OG Azure, have you thought about making the Arigato Senpai video as a joke? I've thought about it. If you ever see me do that, which I mean it's a spoiler now, that would be something for April Fools. It's not going to be for this April Fools since you already know about it. So, um, but thank you for asking that, Striker. Uh, Jerion, have you ever gotten Jerion XP? Have you ever gotten demotivated by the comments from your family? No, I've never really been demotivated, be it friends or family. I've never been demotivated for anything. It's just that I'm gonna be honest, as a human, they hurt from a perspective of if they were doing something like this, I would support them. Even if it's for content that I don't necessarily support, I would support the ideology of what they do and I would like it, share it, and give them whatever behind the scenes support that's possible. No, because because that's one thing about it, Jerion. As I've told stories, I have friends who come from hyper religious or anti-religious families, who basically who they be it they were or are in the military, in school, out of school, whatever, who were struggling financially. And they embarked on things like he'd even talk about this things like what's it called, the fans on OnlyFans, who the young ladies have started OnlyFans. Now their families are the type of people who they would talk down about it. Um, they would talk down about it and talk down about them to what they do and etc. But one thing that shifted their minds about it is how much money they saw the young ladies getting from it. See, that's the main reason why comments like that exist from people, Jerion, is the lack of money. I've learned people will respect whatever you do, even if it's the most vilest thing morally, objectively. If you make enough money from it, they will praise you for it. It shouldn't be like that, but that's how it is. But no, that's part of the reason why I've never gotten demotivated because of stories like that. I've seen people go completely against their morals and moralistic values for financial gain. And when they've made enough gain from it, those same people will praise them for it. They will forego their morals and ideologies for it. Sorry to say, but that's what happens. Um, Piccolo son, I run in the streets barefoot. Many would think I am crazy. I understand what I'm doing and see my progress. So what others think means nothing to me. No, like I said, as long as you live your life in a way that you would like to and you don't hurt anyone, that's perfectly fine. You have the process of running barefoot, and no one has the right to question you about it. But if they do, only you understand it. So you should always, like you said, live your life how you would like to. Markel Bell. Have you ever wanted to have a open group discussion on a topic and turn it into a video? Yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about that. I may be planning something like that again because it'll be most likely podcast style. Um, most likely, but yes, that would be something. Hey, maybe I may include you in it if you're interested in or aren't too busy. But I would definitely get back to everyone about something like that. Danny, I'm assuming you're referring specifically to elders in your family trying to take what they say to agree. No, well, no, not well. It depends on what you determine as an elder, like elderly to me. But even people who are adjacent to my age and be it extended and non-immediate have made comments and don't take what I do seriously, and that's fine. And that's fine. That's one thing that I've learned. You know, you can expect for people to understand, and that's why. And it's not my job to make them. It's never been my job to. It's never been my job to. So, in my eye, money is fake, just like those type of people you're talking about. Right? I mean, and you are right about that. Piccolo son, you are right about that. People will show you what they want to show you for as long as they found it as long as they find it relevant. So Mark, are you a red pill or blue pill guy? um I'm a green pill person, and what I mean by that is I associate green with the Green Lanterns, the power ring, the emotional spectrum. My will and my mental discipline goes through everything if I have enough will to. Yeah, no, of course, Matrix. No, right. I know you're talking about Matrix, but no, I because when people ask me red pill or green pill, I mean, sorry, red pill or blue pill, I usually just always say green. Because especially now with the Matrix, I mean, I understand the Matrix, so I would have picked what was the pill that wait, let me search it up. What pill did Neo take in Matrix? I forgot which one he took. Yeah, okay, he took, yeah. So if I had to choose between the two, I would be a red pill. But I would also say this: the ingredients and herbs in the red pill was already in my body in abundance before I ever took the pill. So I already had enough natural. I know I'm adding to the lore, but no, I've already had enough of the ingredients in my body from just my lifestyle to understand what the pill would have showed me anyway to a degree. Danny, I think you've asked me about that a few times. I remember you said that I'm going to be your first, that you want me to be the first was the interview only after you reach your pro boxing champion status. So I remember we agreed on that. Unless you've gotten there and I haven't known it yet. But no, definitely. Yeah, so but so I'm going to tell you revised it. Mm, well, whatever the plan is, I know is going to be a good plan. But one thing that rightly, what does my self-worth comes from? Um I think I understand your question. So I'm going to you can correct me if I'm wrong how I'm answering it, but my self-worth has always came from my understanding of who I am or who I want to be. Who I want to be in 5, 10, 20 years from now. I want to be at a place in life, mentally, physically, because all of the work I'm doing physically is going to help me mentally. As a person that I try to help as many people as I can. I'm more disciplined. I'm more financially savvy. I have more options because of financial freedom. So my self-worth has always came from me understanding one, who I am, what I believe in. Two, me not breaking away from my morals and certain disciplines I take after. And three, um, me understanding where I'm going to be or where I want to be. So I hope that answers your question. If not, let me know, sir. Uh, Thinking of myself more as a brand than a pure fighter. As soon as I make money, I'm leaving for a while. Okay, that's both of those things, Danny, are good. Um, you know, what's his name? There's a YouTuber person who makes. I think his name is the Professor, the basketball person. He played professionally in the N1 league, but he never played in the NBA or any of the other leagues. A lot, a lot of people, um, who are humongous fans of professional basketball don't take him seriously. But I think he's making more money without him having to put his body through the rigors that a lot of NBA players are making from what I know, from the different sponsorships and ad revenue and different things. So he's making all of that money himself. So making yourself a brand is one of the best things you can do. And yeah, leaving Hawaii, many people have said that. Hawaii, I think, is a very expensive place to live, but there's a lot of opportunities there for people. Same thing with the likes of Miami, here in Orlando, um, other places all around the world. Where did I get my suits from? The vast majority of them are hand me downs. Um, I've only have like one tailored suit, actually, one that was tailor made for me. That I still own. All the other ones are hand me downs, or I get them from like the men's warehouses where they sell like the Steve Harvey type suits that are discount suits. Yeah, like the vast majority of what I wear is older or hand me downs. Um, so because that's one thing about it too that a lot of people say. I've heard people say, "Well, it looks like you're wealthy," or no, it's not that. It's just that is that just that again? I dress like this because for multiple reasons. But I've I will wear the same jacket, let's say 3 times in a month. A lot of people don't do that. So no, that's basically where a lot of them are hand me downs and different things that people have given me. I honestly don't. The only clothes I buy myself are clothes like for work, like shoes and things that were shirts for work. But I don't really buy a lot of my own clothes. So, like I see myself doing fan films, fitness videos, doing what Mark Miro, Don Fry, Dan Severn did, using their real fighting skills to thrive in pro wrestling. That would be amazing, Danny. I could see you doing well in that. You know, um, I've interviewed pro wrestlers before, one of which, Mr. Rocky Johnson, the Rock's father. You can find that on our YouTube channel. But no, that would be amazing. Um, Piccolo son, I am thought the Atlantean. If you want to, you can interview me. Okay, well, it would be amazing to interview an Atlantean for the first time. I wonder what continuity you're from. I have the looks and charisma, and etc. Um, well, I mean, yes. I mean, hey, I'm glad. Above all else, Danny, I'm glad that you are extremely, extremely motivated about yourself, and about you have to give a 10-minute TED talk. What's it about? What do you mean? What's it about? Are you talking about the live stream or one of the questions? Oh, okay. Are you talking to me, Riley, when you ask what's it about? Or are you talking to Danny? Just to make sure. Oh, okay. That's what you mean. Okay. If you were to do a TED talk, what would it be about? Um, if I did a TED talk, it would be about, well, one of the ideas would be about the insidiousness of business marketing. And I'm going to go into that, and about how people wanting for things to be marketed towards them isn't necessarily a good thing. But businesses have made billions of dollars, or really trillions of dollars, just from doing that. Trillions of dollars just from doing that. I would do that. And my second idea would be the concept of self motivation. Um. Okay, I'll send me the contact details. Do you update any current lines of comics? Like in terms of me being updated with them. I haven't read any within the past 2 or 3 days, but the current Amazing Spider-Man run, the Ben Riley arc that happened was amazing. Um, what's happening currently with the Abyss Saga and Batman? I read Bitter Roots, Usagi Yojimbo. Um, I have to catch up on Ninjak, so I'm caught up with many things. Um, I reread Why the Last Man about 2 or 3 months ago, so that's not current, but it had the TV show coming out, so I had to do that. Yes, I'm glad you had fun. And yes, so some of them are up to date, and the ones that I'm technically up to date on Markel, I've forgotten the majority of them. So I apologize about that. But the ones that I mentioned are some of the ones that I'm up to date on. I don't like using motivation in my mind. I'm fulfilling a prophecy given to me by on high. Simply put, yeah. See, that's exactly. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The positivity and concept of God speaking through you and doing through your real, and that is great, and that is something that I agree with. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's what you mean, Piccolo. So I thought you meant something else. Okay. Well, that would be something in the future that I'll definitely look forward into to doing. Uh, so basically, you have no free. Okay. So Riley, just to make sure, you are talking to me or Danny with that question. Okay, just making sure. All right. How big do you think your brand will grow in the next 3 years? To be honest with you, I see it getting big. Especially here on YouTube with how certain things are going, and our because our most successful platform as a whole is Instagram. Because of I guess how multi culturally centric it is, the most consistent has been Twitter. But I see it growing bigger. I've had plans to upgrade to do more live in person interviews. We started selling merchandise. Um, we started selling merchandise earlier in the year, and so you can find multiple links of that all around the different videos and posts we've made. We plan on doing more of that, and we plan to maybe going through different vendors for them to be cheaper. So I was going to make a short video about this, but now that we're in this interview, um, not in this interview, in this live stream, I've gotten many complaints and criticism for the products that we partner to create through Teespring, for them being too expensive, with the delivery fee and everything. I'm not going to go too in depth on that because I shouldn't necessarily have to explain this, but I've looked into any possible way that I could sell merchandise to be as cheap as possible. The biggest problem has always been things like taxes, things like, well, the quality of the shirts, because all of the shirts from Teespring and Printify that we make and send people are of high quality, right? So let's say I do go to a cheap person around our neighborhood or a cheap person around where we live at a flea market. I gotta buy the shirts in wholesale for me not to lose money. Then that's assuming that the person that I have to do the shirt designs are going to give me a good deal. Here's the problem: if I don't sell enough shirts by a certain time, I'm going to regardless lose money. So that ties into this. I did it to Teespring because I've even lowered the prices on most of the items so that we're barely profitable on the item selling. We're barely profitable on them. So, um, again, if we get better sales or if we essentially get a higher amount of support and that can justify doing that, then the products will be for cheaper through different ways. But again, as you know, it's hard for us to get a view, a like, a share, a comment, and subscription. So for me doing everything in terms of me selling a product and for me to potentially lose by a certain percentage of money, no, that's the worst business thing you can do. That's also something I wanted to also add to this. Never listen to a person who is not actively involved with your business or who is actively or who hasn't done anything like you're doing, even if they know other people who've done it when it comes to business advice. Because they are most likely going to always look from the perspective of a consumer and not a producer. As a consumer and not a producer. See, like I said, like I gave the analogy earlier about the person who read the who is my weeaboo friend. This person is obsessed with Japanese media, but she will be one of the biggest people to complain about how Western media is in terms of I use the Teen Titans Go analogy. She hates Teen Titans Go. Um, she she is a humongous fan of Teen. No, sorry, she hates Teen Titans Go, But in the era where she became an extreme weeaboo back in the early 2010s, late 2000s, there were shows on television and streaming services, Symbiotic Titan, the Thundercats reboot, the TMNT 2012, Legend of Korra, Young Justice, all of these different, and the DC animated films, which are still the reason why American animation in terms of action is even existing is because DC's animated movies, but she didn't watch those things. She watched Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, Naruto Shippuden, all these different shows. Well, eventually, so why would I invest $10 million into a Young Justice and I lose money when I can invest 100,000 to a Teen Titans Go and I make a 500% profit, 500% on my investment back? Think about that. So over the years, she would continuously complain about that, but she talks more about hating Teen Titans Go than, let's say, watching something like Symbiotic Titan or Tron Uprising. That type of thinking is what led to the success of something like Teen Titans Go that people don't like, to the things of Sword Art Online that the majority of people say they don't like, is you putting so much hatred and energy into things that you don't like instead of supporting things that you should. So that perspective is what leads to businesses failing by people listening to people like that. Because I can't tell you how many people, because I know people who've criticized the prices for our t-shirts and merchandise, and when I lowered them, the person still hasn't bought a single piece. So you have to look at it from a consumer. I mean, from a producer, and they're looking at it from the perspective of a consumer. But I will say this as well. Going back into this, the entire reason why I created this business, let me take off my jacket. I'm getting a little bit warm. Why we created this business, this brand, is to few reasons. One, we wanted to create a brand where a group of black people, young black people, could help educate through entertainment other black people and non-black people, or everyone in between, whatever you consider your race, ethnicity, African, etc. to be. Oops, sorry about that. I've always done that, or we've done that to help, to educate people and to do it in a way that people find interesting. When I was doing this, writing the biographies, most people will always make a video about something like this. I want to say, no, I want to make people read. If they're really interested in it, they will read it. A lot of people found that not very interesting, but I created my own lane. Not that many people do what we do what I do with the biographies. We have 1 subscribers on YouTube and all these followers now. I mean, we have a minuscule amount, but from where we started from, we have quite a bit. I did that because of I wanted to do that and essentially incentivize people to learn. I learned more than most of you all do with all the research and typing and everything that we do. That's essentially why that happens. Then, also the secondary form of income or even primary form of income one day. This has always been something that, regardless of where we are in life, we could always learn from it and benefit from it in some way. I've had so many people on the play. For example, if you all don't mind, I'm going to name the different people that we've interviewed over the years. Miss Kenyon Demps, amazing woman, trailblazer. She works with elderly in convalescent homes and the different pageants she's involved in. Mr. Black Pauldron of EMP. interviewed him twice as well, like I did with Mrs. Dem. He has great plans when it comes to his career, be it writing, voice acting, producing, etc. We've interviewed Mr. Evil Jagan. You know, he's been very successful when it comes to his videos within what's it called, the gotcha game community and producing and things of that nature. We've interviewed Mr. Lona Lamar. This man is a polymath when it comes to hairstyling and business and when it comes to real estate. He is a polymath. People need to really follow him because he's one of the people that I'm trying to interview again. Mrs. EMP Rocky Robin, she has made humongous steps with her video game development career, her branding. She's also selling merchandise as well. Mr. EMP Charforce Johnson, we've interviewed him, Guinness Book of World Records. How many people have Guinness Books of World Records? And over the years, he has essentially grown his YouTube and different things of that nature, especially within the Nintendo community. Mrs. Smiley K, we've interviewed her. She was the first rapper, period, be it black, female, etc. She was the first rapper, period, that we've interviewed. Now she's doing different things with finances, or more things with finances. Miss Astrid Scott, she's an educator, a teacher, different things of that nature. So once we did that, then she created her own internet brand as well, rebrand. Minister Gelzer, you should watch the interview. That interview will tell you as much as possible. Jay from Jay's Collectible and Vinyl, stunt marshal, pro wrestler Miss Casanova White, and Wanda Miller, who owned their own THC brand. Rocky Johnson, the Rock's father, King Scythe. So we've interviewed so many different people, and I named different people's names for this reason. It's so that people can have an understanding, regardless of people's opinion on things. Is this brand was made to give people a platform so that they have the ability and the foresight to look to different people who do different things and they engage in different things. That's always what this has always been about. This is always what we've always done. And that's a point of business. Wait, before I continue, Danny, I want to make income on my own terms, like people buying my brand of clothes, workout gear, equipment, private one-on-one, virtual online training, and etc. Okay, yeah, that's the thing, Danny. We're on similar paths in a way when it comes to that. When it comes to that, we're on similar paths. But before I go into the final part of this. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, any more things you would like to say to us or say to me, anything of that nature? I'll give you all about 5 minutes to ask, and I'll answer them. We've just passed the hour mark. If you could contribute one thing to humanity right now that would take effect instantaneous, what would it be? To be honest, I would essentially stop world hunger, but I would stop world hunger, but also stop people from stealing that food from other people. What I mean by that is that even if you stop world hunger, because of the greed in a lot of people's hearts, they will still essentially try to take it from other people. So I would stop world hunger, but also try to stop people from stealing the basic necessities that come with that. Because whenever you have things for free, you will have people trying to take advantage of it. So that's a part of that that a lot of people don't actually state when it comes to stopping world hunger. Thank you for keeping wholesome content on my feed. Oh, thank you, sir. Um, this has been very, very interesting in terms of the support we've been getting. But thank you for being our most successful interview of last year, Mr. Bell. Jerry on XP, not for me. This was a great discussion. Yes. Um, you are right. This was, and this was the first time that I've done a live stream like this, or one that did this is long, but this is for a special occasion. So this is, again, this has always been something that I've wanted to do, because we've even talked about doing gaming content, but that's something, a completely different can of worms, especially when it comes to content strikes on the different social medias, and that's different thing that I would like to do more in investigating into and researching to make sure we do that right. But what I'm saying is that all of this and everything that we're doing has always been to not necessarily just improve, but always been to create a foothold in people's lives and people's minds, is to create an environment, especially online, where people were learning in facts and positivity. Because the term toxic positivity isn't really positivity at all. It's just negativity masking itself as positivity. That's not what we are, what we do. We've always been about learning. You know, like for example, the jokes I put online about the Dr. Clark. Most of these jokes are, people call them memes. I call them memes or memes, or but really rarely I call them jokes. I don't like calling them memes or memes. Um, have been based off of real life interactions and things people have said to me in some way. Most of them have, or even bits and pieces of them have. Named Dr. Clark. This is the perfect time. I was going to go into the ending part, but this is a perfect time for me to explain this. We created the term Dr. Clark because the Facebook group is what started all of this. Dr. Clark's interns. I've changed it to the dark board, to the Docs board since then, but that's what started this. I've been called Professor Doc, um, MD as a nickname from different parts of my life, from because how I look, how I talk, how I carry myself. I name different random facts about useless things all the time, and people will call me that. People have called me that for years. For years, people have called me that. So, you know what? I decided to create a pen name / stage name surrounding that. That doesn't mean I'm claiming I have a PhD, MD, or whatever. But no, that's why I have it as a stage name. But since I've gone forward with this stage name / pen name, a lot of people have disliked that, including former teachers, professors, etc., people who are friends with me on social media, but I know don't like me, but I have no ill will against them, have always had an issue with that. And again, there are multiple artists writers, singers, rappers, and everything in between who uses Dr. Dr. Dre has made himself a billionaire off of that. So why shouldn't I use it? It helps the brand and meets everything in the middle essentially. So that's why I use it. And again, I apologize that offends anyone, but I don't apologize for the meaning of it. So that's how that name essentially began and started on what it essentially became. I still get pushback from it and people make fun of me because of it, but you know that's the way the cookie crumbles. You're gonna always have that. But going into that off of all of that, thank you all for the support you have been giving us so far in Black History Month. We've been experimenting with things this month, the shorts, do it on Black martial artists, and this has been, I think, the second best year overall so far that we've had, especially with the Mary J. Blige video. Look forward to more shorts like that as the month goes on, and look forward to more interesting martial artist bios. I just released one a few hours ago on Margene Holden. She was basically the leading Black stunt woman and martial arts actress in the 90s. She's calmed down now, because of her, I think, her family and in her other parts of her life. But she even started her own film in the late 90s. Many Black women martial artists and stunt women can't say that. So she's done that, and look forward to other written pieces like that from me, the Wandering Zoologist and the Hip Hop Historian. Oh, you make the website soon. That's excellent, Danny. So look forward to that. Oh, also look forward to more modeling pictures from CN Miss Kendra CN Williams, or CNA. She's a CNA. She will be marketing more of our merchandise soon. Yeah, she will be marketing that very, 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 very soon when it comes to our face mask and things of that nature. So please look forward to that, because again, we've sold face masks and I lowered the prices on them and what they originally were. So look forward to that. But if that is all, everyone, thank you. Unless someone has any last minute, no, I said this is the last, but I'll say it again. Before I leave, does anyone have any last minute questions, comments, concerns, or anything of that nature? If not, I'll sign out. Okay. Well, I'll say this from the bottom of my heart. I always have a organic overall love for humanity and those around me. And because of that, that's helped me with my disposition essentially. But outside of that and all of that, from both a personal and a business standpoint, thank you everyone for the support you've given us over these years. Things have been hard all around, personally, and different endeavors, and with this, I haven't had a real vacation since end of 2016. This is what I mean by that. Usually, when you go on vacation, be it you stay home, you're off from work for a day or for a weekend, except you go out of town, that is you dedicating all of your energy and effort towards just doing that, just relaxing or whatever plans you have for that vacation. That's not you going on your phone continuously checking your phone for emails, recording videos, uh, looking at emails, looking at your investments, editing things. That's not what a real vacation is. When different billionaires and millionaires leave at the ending of the year after the holiday season, when they go on their 2-3 weeks vacations, they don't necessarily have to check their emails. They have people who literally get paid to do that for them. You know, they don't worry about their business when they're on those trips. Most people don't. Most people they'll go to Miami for 2 or 3 days and completely forget during those 2 or 3 days that they have a life back home where they're from. Because of the amount of dedication I put towards things in my life, including this business, I haven't had to, even with me going out of town and different things, me being off. I've always been doing some type of work, especially with the dogs board. So with me even saying all of that that's to show you all how much I care about this and how much I care about you all and things that we make. So with that being said, everyone, from the bottom of all of our hearts, including Mr. Derek Brown, Mr. Hunter Graham, thank you, everyone. I work as hard as possible to make sure that everything is done in the best way. And if I've disappointed anyone, I apologize about that. But things will keep improving, things will keep getting better. And with all of you being here, even if you weren't, things are stupid good. But with all of you being here and enjoying things and organically consuming things, this is make all the hard work and the long nights and the sick days worth it. But with that being said, Dr. Clark, signing out.